I've always been interested in art, and I mostly painting, drawing, pastel type things.
I've been a professional photographer for 17 years, but I've been a photographer for about 45 years.
When I was 16, I took a single class, and that was, of course, back in the days where, you needed to use an enlarger, and I learned how to use an enlarger and how to develop my photos, and I enjoyed it. And I took some color photos with my little camera, which were pretty good, and I actually used them to get into college, and I thought, this is neat. But I never, ever thought of myself as an artist, and so I never took another visual art class again.
My sister said, Amy, you have to take a photography class. I said, oh, I guess my photographs aren't that great. So I started taking some photography classes at the University of Southern Maine.
So I started in the world of film and absolutely loved being the one with a camera. And by the time I was 15, my family knew that I was the only one who needed to take pictures.
I went in the darkroom and it was like magic. It's just, all of a sudden, there's the sound of the water and the image coming up in the developer, and I just thought, this is incredible.
2013, I finally decided I wanted a smartphone, so I got my first iPhone and started taking some photos and posting them on Facebook, and people thought they were kind of neat. And I thought, well, this is kind of fun. So I took some of them and submitted them to a couple of local art shows and got a few pictures in, and then won a winter photography contest with the Enterprise.
But I was always the one chronicling family events, and then realized what I really loved were landscapes and scene and nature. And the dream was to be a National Geographic photographer and just explore the world through my camera.
We had to come up with a project, and I thought, I'm going to try a pinhole camera just for fun. So I searched online, found out all the information, and started this pinhole camera project.
So my dream was to learn photography inside and out. I took a darkroom class, which really teaches you photography, and film really teaches you photography. So the camera was always by my side.
So I've done just a huge range of different kinds of work, but almost exclusively either for educational or for nonprofit or government agencies. I don't do much for corporations, mostly because the content is so much more interesting. So that's what I do for a living, but I also write scripts for plays, and I'm quite involved with the theater community locally.
Because I'm really interested in the subject of time, I sort of just migrated back to the pinhole camera because it's about time in so many ways. It's about time because it's an ancient process. It's based on the camera obscura that's been around since 500 BCE, and it's about time because the exposures are so long. And it's about watching because you're watching time while your camera is taking the picture independently. And I also like it because you have to lose a sense of control when you use the pinhole camera. You have no viewfinder, so you have an idea of what you want to take an image of, but you really don't know exactly what the frame is going to be. You don't know what can happen. Will you let your camera sit there? It can blow over. I have an image in the show here where the camera blew over. I put the camera up, there was snow all over it. I dusted it off, and actually some snow must have gotten in the back of the camera, and then it refroze on the negative because it was cold out, and so there's actually ice on the negative, but the image came through. And because that picture is an old collapsing barn, it fits with the image perfectly. And I've tried to recreate it. I've tried, and I can't. So it's just those embracing happenstance.
We started with greeting cards of our landscapes. That's how Vagabond View came about. And we said, no people, no weddings, no kids, nothing hard, just beautiful. And I think it was within a year, it was, let's do that family portrait thing. Let's try the wedding thing. So we established a physical business in Falmouth in 2008.
Whatever your medium is, it's kind of like having a lump of clay that you move around until it's right. And whether it's the written word, or it's movement on a stage, or it's selecting the right filter or crop for a photograph, all of it is kind of a process where you try out different things until you get to that, yep, that was it.
I am full-time in the business, and my business partner, my photography partner, Stephanie Cavallo, is still involved in the business, but she's got a full-time job and a full-time family, so I have had the opportunity to follow families, to capture everything that means people and families, and there's a real focus on kids, from newborn babies to the one-year-old to high school seniors. And if I get to the point where a newborn baby that I have photographed is getting married, I know I've been in this business too long, but I get to capture the family life cycle.
I want to go where it leads me, which is why I like this process, because it's really like life. I have to interact with the camera. I don't control the whole thing. I go with it. I have to deal with the weather. I have to deal with the day. I have to deal with the place. I mean, I can't draw and make it up in my mind. Something has to be there. I can't sit at home and do it. I have to go somewhere. I have to seek something out. I have to construct my camera. I have to process my negatives in the darkroom. So there's all that part. But then I have to let it go and do its own thing. When I set it up, there it is. There you go. Do your thing, whatever it is. And I just have to trust that it does it. So I enjoy that back and forth. So I feel like it's leading me, and I have some control over it, but it's a back and forth conversation that mirrors life. So.
And I have two objectives with everything I do with my clients, and I still do landscapes, and I do event photography and a little bit of commercial, but my objective with families is that they look at that end result, and it could be anything. It could be a photograph, it could be a digital, it could be a greeting card or a book or a collage. A lot of times people just want a combination of the kids' pictures. And one objective is that they look at that and say, I love that picture. I love him at that age. The other objective is we had so much fun. And I will never forget what he said after she clicked the camera and he stuck his tongue out at her, or that it just evokes the memories, because this is all about capturing a second in time.
I'm excited to be part of an art form that is coming into its own now, so that those of us who are involved actually have a voice in determining what it will be and where it will go. That's kind of a really neat place to be with your artistic medium.